So here is the electric bicycle from the last video. Let me start off by saying that I haven't had a chance to put many miles on this, so this isn't a review video. But I have noticed a few things about the bike, which I'll talk about in this video. I just want to show you what I've done since then. I replaced the stock tires with Schwalbe Marathon Plus tires, both front and rear. If you remember, the old tires had that red line going through it all the way around it. Got rid of those. Got rid of the red pedals that the bike came with. Just put some cheap Walmart black plastic pedals on it. Removed all the stickers from the frame, which I think it makes it look a lot cleaner. I think the bike looks a lot better now than it did stock. Added the Planet Bike front and rear fenders. Added the rear rack. It's a Topeak rack that I had on the REI Ponderosa bike. I cut down the handlebars. I think they were 32 or 34 inches, and I cut them down to 26 inches. And trying to think if I kept the I like the seat. I think the seat is real comfortable, and actually the brakes got kind of bad reviews in other videos about the GMC Denali, but I don't mind the brakes, so all that's stock. Except for the levers, the brake levers, I use the brake levers from the Bafang kit. So yeah, so that's everything that I've done since the last video. Alright, so here's the other side of the bicycle. If you remember in my last video, I had a mess of wires up here by the handlebars, and I've kind of cleaned them up. I'm happy with the way this looks. And when you do this, make sure that when you turn the handlebars all the way to the right or to the left, that none of these wires bind, or you'll damage the wiring. The Planet Bike fenders, these are size 35mm fenders. They were very hard to install. I don't think this bike was meant to have fenders on it since it's a road bike. I had to cut the fenders to make them fit. Also, they limit me to a 700 by 32C size tire or smaller. If I go to a 700 by 35C tire, they rub. So next time when I wear these tires out and I get replacements, I'm probably going to get the 700 by 35C and then get rid of these fenders. I don't think I recommend putting these fenders on this bike just because they're just so hard to install. The rear rack. Normally on a bicycle you have two seat stays in the frame that run from the dropout to this part of the frame. This one merges into this one piece here, and they really don't give you an easy way to install a rack. So what I did is I went and got some Gorilla tape, put it on some inner tube, and then cut the inner tube to match the dimensions of the tape and wrapped it around the frame here. Then I went to Home Depot and got a pipe clamp. I don't remember the size of this. I think it's 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. And I clamped that onto the frame and attached the rack to that clamp, which works really well. I'm really happy with it. I don't think I'm going to have any problems with it coming loose, or I don't think I'll have any problems with it in the future. And then the tires are the Schwalbe Marathon Plus. They're the highest rated for puncture resistant, and they have really good rolling resistance. So I'm happy with those. They're much better than the stock tires. I want to talk a little bit about this Bafang 750 watt mid-drive motor and how I've got it configured. I've configured it for 9 assist levels, pedal assist levels, 1 being the least amount of help from the motor and 9 being the most. Plus, it also has this throttle control of the motor. The reason I'm bringing that up is they normally will categorize a electric bicycle as a Type 1, Type 2, or Type 3. A Type 1 is a bicycle with pedal assist where the motor cuts out at 20 miles per hour. A Type 2 has throttle control where the motor cuts out at 20 miles per hour. And then a Type 3 is a speed pedelec where the motor cuts out, speed pedelec where you have pedal assist where the motor cuts out at 28 miles per hour. I don't know what category they would place this bike in because it not only has pedal assist but it also has the throttle control of the motor. Plus, this is configured that it goes faster than 20 miles per hour, but you can configure it to cut off at any speed, 15 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour, and you can take this throttle off without affecting the pedal assist feature of the controller in the motor. Someone in the comment section of the last video asked if I thought that the rear derailleur cable guide that I modified in the last video is going to give me problems, and no, I don't think it's going to give me problems. I think the problem areas for this bike are going to be the drivetrain, the freewheel, and possibly this rear wheel axle. The reason I think that is because this motor produces a lot of torque. This bike will accelerate up hills where other electric bikes that I've ridden, I'm thinking of one with an electric hub motor, and that bike decelerated to the point where you had to start pedaling to get up the hill. So this bike produces a lot of torque, and if I had to do it over again, I'd probably get a smaller motor. I haven't put a lot of miles on the bike, but I did get a chance to load test the put the motor and drivetrain under a heavy load by putting the motor in pedal assist 9 and putting the bicycle in the highest gear, so it's the hardest to pedal gear. And I would start from a stop, and I noticed that the freewheel, this is the freewheel, slipped a couple of times. And if you do that enough, the teeth, the ratcheting mechanism teeth inside of the freewheel will start to round, and eventually it will stop working. So you want to be aware of the stresses that this motor produces on the bicycle, because things will break. I never plan to ride this in any higher pedal assist than 1, and for the most part I'm probably going to have the motor turned off. The reason I think that the axle is vulnerable is rear wheel hubs with a freewheel are known, the axles are known to break quicker than hubs with a cassette, and that just has to do with the way it's designed. So it's just something to be aware of when you're riding. See what else you should, because the chain is under a lot of tension produced by this motor, it's going to stretch quicker than a regular bicycle, so you want to check for chain stretch religiously. When it exceeds its limits, replace the chain, because if this chain breaks, it can take out the rear derailleur. The rear derailleur is a cheap $10 replacement, but it would just be another headache for you if you lose that when the chain breaks. There is one other problem I'm having. It's a small problem with this bike, but I don't want to just discuss it right now. I'll discuss it in a future video. It's not a big deal. It doesn't prevent me from riding the bicycle, but I'll discuss it more in a future video. Before I end this, I just want to show you that on this battery you have a charge indicator here. There's a port here for charging it, but what's really cool is they put a USB port here so you can plug in your phone or whatever to charge while you're riding. And also on the console here they have a USB port behind this little plastic cover. So that is the electric bike as it stands right now. I'm going to take it out and try and get some video of just so you can hear the motor working in a couple of the pedal assist modes and see the console. So thanks for watching. Alright, so here's the screen with the power turned on. You can see I'm in pedal assist 1, and then I have the control pad here to cycle up or down. When I have it in pedal assist 0, it doesn't do anything. It's just all pedal power. So it's pedal assist 1, and you can see the motor down there, and I'm barely pedaling. You see 7 miles an hour, and it's just pretty much all motor work. And then if I want, I can stop pedaling and just use throttle. And now I'm in pedal assist 5. Still in the easiest pedal gear. I'm up to 12 miles an hour. Alright, here's pedal assist 9, and I'm still in the easiest gear, which is would be first gear, first out of 7 on this bike. So that took me up to about 16 miles per hour without me applying really any pedal pressure. Alright, now I'm in pedal assist 9 and I'm in 5th gear. And see if I can get up to 20.